Happy Monday, everyone. It is your friendly neighborhood warlock Gubstep here, and today I'll be doing a special episode of Raiders on Rails. Instead of numerous tips, we'll be discussing how to use some of the most common features on WarcraftLogs to analyze yourself, others, and what went wrong during the encounter. So let's jump into it. If you would like to follow along with these examples, I have linked the logs that are used in this video in the description. I have opened a Varimathras kill from my guild Atypical. One of the most common questions I have when looking at a log is what gear and talents are being used for this encounter. This is pretty easy to look at. Simply click the person you wish to view, I'll click myself, and click the summary tab in the top left corner. This will show you the talents, gear, artifact traits, and level of the player in question. Scrolling down further, we can see a quick summary of their damage, healing, and damage taken by ability. If you're raid leading, you probably want to see who's using their pre- and post-bots, and any avoidable damage that players have taken. WarcraftLogs has implemented a nice feature called Problems in the top right corner. Here you can see avoidable damage and who is utilizing their potions. This is pretty clean as this is an actual kill, but let's switch over to a wipe. This is a wipe on Mythic Coven of Shra. As you can see here, there's a lot more going on, as there's a lot more damage going out. One of the common problems on Coven is people are not switching to the Aman'Thul ads, or they're switching to the wrong ad. So let's take a look at the damage done to the Aman'Thul ads. Be sure to hit the X next to yourself in the top left corner. This just makes sure that you're viewing everyone and just not you. Select the Damage Done tab, click on all enemies, and go down to Torment of Aman'Thul. We can see that WarcraftLogs labels each ad 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. This is useful as not only can we see the damage done to the target, but if someone is on the wrong target, we can see this in the logs. Click on Torment of Aman'Thul. We can see all the DPS on the ads. Gubstep on 1, Red Taw on 1, Sathrasis on 1, London on 1. Oops! It looks like somebody is attacking the wrong ad. Now, this is easily seen because we didn't make it very far into the Aman'Thul phase. Let's take a look at an actual kill. Now we can see that the ads are all over the place. How can we find out if someone was attacking the wrong ad or not? WarcraftLogs has a nifty little feature that allows you to sort by time. There are 4 Aman'Thul ads. We can see that the phase lasted about a minute. Doing some simple math, we can find out that each ad should have been alive about 15 seconds. Go up to the timeline, hold down Shift at the beginning of the time, hold down your mouse click and drag it over to the end time. Now we have a 15-second window of when the ads first spawned. Some guilds will try to burn down 2 ads with Bloodlust during this phase, so at most, we should see 2 different ads being targeted, unless the class is multi-dotting. London 3, Benzos 3, Raven 3, Taka 3, Apricot 4, Haunches 4. Oops! It looks like Red Taw was damaging the wrong ad for quite a while during the first 15 seconds. This could easily just be a simple tab targeting mistake. But it could also be that the player doesn't understand what ad they're switching to during the fight and isn't saying anything. Let's move on to deaths. Let's clear everything we've selected. Go ahead and click the X next to the player, the X next to the enemy, and reset the zoom so we can see the entire counter again. Let's take a look at how I died. Click on the player, me, Gubstep, click deaths. Look at that. 7.3 million damage over 2.5 seconds. Clicking on the player will give you a more detailed log leading up to the death of the player. Looks like my death was caused by the Touch of the Cosmos hitting me for 6.3 million. This is an interruptible cast by Thurawa, one of the bosses on the Mythic encounter of Coven. Looks like somebody missed their interrupt. According to the timeline, the cast was between 5 minutes and 10 seconds and 5 minutes and 12.6 seconds. Click the X on the player and let's see who's missing their interrupts. Typically there will be an interrupt order on this fight, so it should be pretty easy to determine who missed their interrupt. Let's use our zoom tool to get a better look here. Hold Shift down and click and drag over the area with the interrupts. The bars represent how close the cast was to getting off. The higher the bar, the longer the cast time. My death specifically was between 5:10 and 5:13. So let's take a look at the interrupts leading up to that. Looks like our main interrupters are Jildo, Takman, Haunches, and Benzos. Jildo interrupted at 4:53, Takman interrupted at 4:59, Haunches interrupt at 5:05. Whoops! Looks like a silly demon hunter forgot to interrupt. Now let's not be so hasty. Keep in mind that it could have been on cooldown. So let's take a look at the last time he interrupted, which was at 4:43, and the time I died was 5:12. Consume Magic, which is the Demon Hunter interrupt, is on a 15-second cooldown, so it is likely he just missed the interrupt. But to be absolutely sure it wasn't on cooldown, we can check when the last time he casted it was. Click the Cast tab, click the player you want to view, in this case Benzos, then click the spell we're interested in this case the interrupt Consume Magic. The last time he casted it was 4:45, and the cast got on at 5:12, so it definitely wasn't on cooldown. This will conclude today's Raiders on Rails episode. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you want to see more content by me, be sure to hit that subscribe button. This has been Gubstep, and I will see you next video. So long, friends.